Hi everybody, I'm actually recording this video on YouTube just to give you a sense of some of the technologies out there you can use. I have found since I began using video in some of my courses, especially these sort of brief intro to the unit videos, I found that online students who sometimes, as we'll be getting into next week, can tend to feel very isolated, feel like they don't really belong to a class. When they see your face, they will actually show up in your office and ask you questions. They'll call you or be more likely to call you with questions. So, at any rate, it does humanize you. When students only see you through your words in D2L site, it's often easy for them to forget that they are dealing with an instructor. They're dealing with other students and whatnot. Now, one thing I've been told by students in the past, or one student in particular in the past, is that I tend to bobble around a lot when I'm talking. So please ignore that. At any rate, this week we're moving into the second week of our first chunk of the course. Last week you took some time to introduce yourselves to us, and I will continue looking at those early in the week. I mentioned in my last announcement that the weekend I was going to be largely out of the loop, so I will be catching up on those. I've enjoyed learning about you so far, and I will be sure I duck in and meet anybody I haven't met already. This week, we are moving on to reflecting on educational theory and how it might apply to the online environment. And one of the things we'll be doing is thinking about how something you've done in a face-to-face class or seen done in a face-to-face class reflects the theories you've read about in our online text, the theory and I've forgotten the name of it, and so we put the one that is online, theory and practice of online learning or something to that effect. I just completely blanked, and I have a meeting in 5 minutes, so we're not going to be doing a second take of this, another reality of online learning. But at any rate, our online text does introduce a behaviorist, cognitive, and constructivist approaches to learning, period. And if you've done any education courses, you'll be familiar with those terms already. So I'll be asking how you've seen this in play in the face-to-face classroom and how you think you might make these work in the online classroom, or even whether or not they are workable. So at any rate, that will be much clearer when you read this week's discussion question. Your text should be in Monday is what somebody had told me. I'm not sure if we ran out of texts or if they were all simply late, and that's my phone beeping in the background. But you will want to make sure you pick that up and get that first chapter read. I do not include reference to the chapter in this week's discussion question because I want those conversations to get going early on, and that was my computer chiming at me. At any rate, and now I have just one moment, a reminder. I have a meeting coming up, so about half a dozen things pop up to remind me of my meeting, and I think most of you know what that's like. So I will draw this to a close. I have not included reference to the first chapter of your text in this week's discussion question. It is a general intro to online learning, so it doesn't really lend itself at any rate to a really careful reflection. However, if you have questions or comments on it once you've got your book and once you've read that chapter, add them to this week's discussion. I'm happy to answer them or happy to hear your thoughts on the sort of general overview on online learning, which is provided there. So I will end it there. You probably just heard someone is knocking on my door. I will end it there. Be sure to read the text version of this as well in case I've forgotten anything. And of course, duck over to the content area of the course, and you will see there this week's work opened up for you as well. Have a good week, and as always, I am here in my office on the phone or by email on the discussion boards if you've got any questions. Talk to you later.